Hello!
Hurrah!
We're here.
This is Keith Field.
And this is Lady Sarah.
And thank you for joining us for
A cup of tea. Yes, we're here again.
We're here again, and we have a great show. We're terribly excited about today's show.
But firstly, I do have some bad news for you folks. Yes. As you know, we have a regular segment, Say Something in British, but unfortunately, that is going to be dropped from today's show.
That's because we're all British!
Yes, everyone is going to be speaking British throughout the entire show because we have two fantastic guests, both Brits.
But we have all made our home here in the United States of America.
Firstly, time for some news. A latest update. Yes, I'm losing the ability to speak. The latest update on future leader dog Magic, who's been with us for about 4 weeks now.
He's house sitting.
He's house doing something else. I almost said a rude word, which rhymed with sitting then. He's a young pup, 15 weeks old, and he's been out and about, and we'd like to show you what he's been doing. We're both absolutely exhausted. We've been doing a training walk in Somerset Hall. He's been a really good boy because there's loads of distractions all around. But the bigger distractions are for Lady Sarah. So we're trying to train her the good habits and train the dog the bad habits. Or is it the other way around? I'm not sure.
So we're at the shopping mall trying to train the dog with the face masks as well. It was quite phenomenal.
It was full on. It was truly exhausting. Yeah. Anyway, on other news.
On other news, we have happening this Saturday, the virtual Magic Soiree. For those of you who are friends of the Magic Soiree, we're going virtual.
It's going to be very exciting. And there are only 16 tickets going to be sold for this very unique show. And we still have a couple of tickets left. So if you want to come, get in quick.
But we do have a video there as well. And we'd love to show you the video of some of the things we may be up to.
Yes.
Some of the things. Here we go.
So there's going to be magic,
comedy sketches,
quizzes,
all sorts, and you're going to be doing some magic your side of the screen. So get your tickets now, and it'll be lovely to see you. And I saw that Desney was with us, and Liz, all sorts of people. But we're looking forward to seeing you on Saturday for the virtual soiree. Oh, darling, where can you get the tickets?
Oh, get the tickets from themagicsoiree.com. Advertising over, on with the show.
On with the show. When we first moved here, when we first moved to the US, people said to us, do you know Charles Wickins?
And we didn't, but we quickly discovered that the correct answer to that question is, in fact, everybody knows Charles Wickins.
He's locally known as the English Auctioneer.
Or the MC with a hammer, and we're going to find out exactly why he made the hop over the pond to here a little bit later on.
But first, the guest that we're our first guest, essentially. I messed that up.
Do you want to do that bit again?
Our first guest is a man who needs no introduction. Dally, that's your bit.
You said he needed no introduction. So.
Never worked with animals.
I first met this guy at a secret location. It was very hush hush. We were at an RAF base, a Royal Air Force base in the countryside in the UK, because we were both flying off to Belize to entertain the British forces.
Darling.
Yes.
Belize,
that's down in Central America. This was back in 1989, 1990. Belize had recently gone independent, and they were having a bit of a fracas with their neighbours.
So a fracas in Britain means you send in the entertainers?
No, you send in the forces. We were there to entertain. You're confusing me, woman. Let's move on. He is not only a brilliant magician.
He's an actor as well. And instead of say something in British, we're going to say name that show. So the first picture we have is coming up right now.
There we go. Any idea on that one?
No, none.
Next.
What about that
one? I do know that one. I think that was a Beauty and the Beast shot. I think I've seen that. I think I saw that.
Next.
Oh
no.
Dear.
Well, there's two Brits there.
Yeah,
Vinny.
That's Vinnie Jones, isn't it? So we're going to find out all about these.
And then there's this one.
Oh, that's my favourite. Live long and prosper.
Perfect.
The many faces of Steve Valentine. He also appears in shows like Monk,
NCIS,
Bones,
Psych.
He had a long-running thing in Finding Jordan.
Wizards of Waverly Place.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, Felicity, our producer.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah.
She knows about
so let's meet the man who's done all that. Please give a huge round of applause to the fabulous Steve Valentine.
Hey! How are you?
Hey, great.
Nice to see you,
Good
guys.
to see you, my friend.
Lovely to see you. It's been
Thank
a while
you.
since Belize.
Yes, it has been a while. That was it 1990, 1989?
I want to say it was 88.
88. It was something like that, a long time ago, when we were both young and we both had more hair, amongst other things.
Yeah, I know. I have way more hair. It's depressing.
I know it is, isn't it? So where are you actually calling us from?
Right now I'm in Toronto, and I've been in Toronto, Canada, for about a year, just round the corner from you guys, just across the border.
But we thought you'd be here.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I jump all over the place, don't I? I'm like, I'm in America until they find out the truth, and I've got to move to
But you're so close. You could have come here and done the show live.
I know, because you literally are just a few hours away. I would have loved to have done that, but we're in quarantine, we're in lockdown, so it's not as bad here as I think it is over there right now. We're in like phase 3 coming out.
I think we're going backwards over here. Let's not talk about it. It's too
all right. Okay.
too depressing.
Do you know Detroit at all? I mean, do you have a favorite place here? You must have been here.
In Detroit?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I spent a lot of time in Detroit in the early 90s for other family reasons, and then recently I was in Detroit. I was in Detroit just before Christmas, and I was touring with the Illusionists, and we hit the Fox Theatre.
Lovely.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
Perfect. Nice.
Just using it for white balance, you understand.
Yeah. That was
too late. Hold on, go back. Look.
Yeah.
You want to see the picture?
Want to see the picture?
Yeah.
Look, there we go.
It's a funny thing. We didn't have time to do a photo shoot, so this is my headshot, and then they put it on somebody else's body. So that's not even my leg. I mean, look at those legs. Look at those legs. Like, that's not my legs. No,
obviously not. Obviously not.
How well do you know his legs?
Not that well, but I could spot it.
Belize.
Yeah. Okay, so moving forward, boys. You moved from the UK to Hollywood.
Yes.
Why? What prompted that?
Tax reasons mainly, but also no. It was I was very young. I was still in my teens, and we decided to move to LA to pursue acting. That was I always did it in England. I always did theatre and magic, because in England you can do variety and then you can do acting.
Yeah,
and you can go host a game show, and it doesn't matter.
It's a natural progression, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it's up and down. If you're lucky, you'll get Jack and Nori.
Yeah,
and Peter. So I thought, well, I'll just go to the States. I can work as a magician to make money, and then kind of see if I can break into acting. Really, that was the goal.
And was it hard to get in? I mean, we had all kinds of problems with driving
to get into America or to get into acting. I mean,
I think it was easier to get into America than it was to get into acting. I think that's
really, because when we first came here, it was 2009. Is that right?
Yeah.
2000, I think 10, whatever.
Whatever.
Something about that. And just getting a driving license was really difficult for us at the time, because the changes in rules, let alone getting the work visas and everything else. How was it for you back in?
It wasn't. I think the toughest part was, because I'm young and naive, and so I have a tendency to jump right in before, I don't think about things too much. I just go do them, what usually works, but sometimes backfires. And coming to America to break into acting when you don't know anyone. Yeah, it's a very naive thing to think, well, I'll just make it work. So we ended up driving into LA, and I remember I was just me and my ex-wife, and we drove into LA, and we were looking for a place to stay. I think I'd sold all my props in England, most of my big props. So I had a couple of £1,000, and that was it. And so the first apartment complex we stop at, this is honest to God truth, right, is run by an English couple. This guy Norris, and I talk about him in my one-man show in Life Another. I talk about him because he was such a character. He was just like that kind of like, so tell me, Stephen, so what is it you want to do while you're here? You know, it's very. So he says, so they said, do you have any credit? And I was like, I don't know what that is. What's credit? And I said, do you have a job? And I'm like, no, but I'm sure I can get one. And they said, well, you know, because you're from the old country, they were like, we'll give you a break, which was amazing. And then the wife of the guy of Norris, the guy that ran the place, the wife said, I might be able to find you a job. She said, I work at Giorgio's Beverly Hills down on Rodeo Drive, she said, and across the street is a place called David Orgel's, and they sell antique silver. And she said, if I think they're looking for a salesman. And I was like, I can sell anything. I can sell silver. How hard is that? So we go down to get an interview, and I get a job. So these people gave me an apartment without credit, you know, without any references, and they got me a job. And the best part was, so Norris says to me, he says, so what's your plan? And I said, well, I want to break into acting, you know. And he's like, oh dear. That was kind of his attitude. And he said, how are you going to pay for it? How are you going to fund that? And I said, by being a magician, you know. And he was like, yeah. And I said, no, I said that there's a place I've heard of called the Magic Castle. I know it's around here somewhere. If I can find it, maybe I can get a job there. And they pulled me out onto the street, and they said, this is 1737 North Orange Drive. And they said, and if you look half a block away, you see that mansion house on the hill. They're like, that's the Magic Castle. Complete fluke. It was right there. So I always think it was just timing. I shudder to think what would have happened if we'd ended up in like Alhambra or something, you know.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Steve, that's unbelievable.
So we know that magic is close to your heart. In fact, we performed together and down at the Magic Castle a lot. Yes. I'm going to ask you that embarrassing question of a magician. Do you have something you could maybe show us on the show?
A magic trick or
magic? Or your tattoos?
Strange wart that's just popped up. Yeah, I've got a trick I can show you. I've got something.
Okay, well, what we're going to do is we're going to push you into the green room so you can prepare.
Wait, I can. Okay, yes.
Yeah, make your own way there. Fantastic.
And we're going to bring you back for some magic in a mo.
Okay, all right.
He's making his own way. He's making his own way there. He's thank you, Mr. Steve Valentine, vanishing out the side of the screen.
You went twice. Sorry about that.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, love Steve. Love hanging out with him. He's a great guy.
Dear. And Sheila's here, and I know she loves Steve as well.
See, we've got your fans watching Steve. That's what we like to see. Right. Time for another Brit who made a hop across the pond, and since then he's had a very varied career. A very varied career. In fact, let's start off with one of his early pictures. Can we bring that up? Look at that. Such a varied career. Okay, well, what was his next varied career? Oh, that is scary as heck. How on earth?
That is actually
I'm glad that went, because there are people who are scared of clowns, you know.
He is a distinguished part of the Distinguished Clown Corporation.
Well, we'll find out a bit more about that later on. He is someone who loves to get involved. He's involved in many different organisations, and we bump into him all over the place.
Toastmasters,
Rotary clubs,
various chambers of commerce.
Please welcome Mr. Charles Wickins. Hey!
You know what they say when you go on stage, never follow puppies or children. I think following Steve might be a hard act as well. But I have a question for him. When he goes into Los Angeles with his ex-wife, was she then his ex-wife, or was she later his ex-wife?
Oh, well, we can move on. We can leave you two to chat after the show if you want. That'd be fine.
Charles, where are you? I'm loving the jacket.
I'm at home and I'm wearing the jacket because I expect you're going to say, when did I get here?
When did you get here, Charles?
Oh, I arrived here on Labor Day in 1984. And all true Detroiters know what happened in 1984.
No.
The Tigers won the World Series.
Oh.
So that's why I got this jacket.
Yeah. Oh dear. That was a long time. Was that the last time they won it?
Yes, that was the last time.
Yeah, I thought so. It's in rather a downward slide, a bit like my football team, Charlton Athletic. They've sort of gone.
Well, I didn't know anything about it. I said it doesn't look like cricket, but it's kind of fun, and I didn't see how they couldn't win every year. But of course, they didn't.
No, yes. Unfortunately, history has borne that one out.
Yes, it has.
So let's move on. Favorite place in the D?
You know, I love Detroit Golf Club. I've played there a lot. I love the Detroit Public Theater, and I love Detroit.
Yeah.
I like some of the restaurants downtown. I like that little Cuban restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, go Tigers.
Yeah.
And,
Restaurants around downtown.
Oh.
1. Big Boy Restaurant on Southfield
that's
Road.
Alexa. What
2,
can I do? Alexa, shut up. You understood that.
That's a first. We have an Alexa joining in the show.
Yes.
So you got here in '84, but Charles, we know you as an auctioneer, and very, very different. Did you come in as an auctioneer?
He's doing a jacket change for us
I've
now.
never had anybody do a costume change on the set.
Oh yes. Steve's doing one, I'm sure.
We should have taken you out of the screen for that.
Steve,
Oh
let
yeah,
me
now
change
this
it.
is
There you go.
this is the Charles Wickins that we know as an auctioneer.
When I came over here in '84, I came to work for a car auction company. British Car Auctions was
Right.
the largest in the UK, and we started buying auctions in the US. And I came over to run the Ford account, but actually I got on better with the General Motors people. However, my first 3 months here, I was located in Las Vegas. I had a suite at the Imperial Palace, and I had an apartment in Marina del Rey in Los Angeles because we were putting an auction on there for General Motors and looking for property in Los Angeles. That was quite an introduction to this large country.
Wow.
And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So for auctions have been a way of life for you?
Yeah, so you now, where we first came into contact was when you were doing charity auctions and fundraisers, which you've been doing a lot of for a number of years in this area. Tell us how that all started and how you got into that.
In England, I used to run an auction, and I used to be an auctioneer. Over here, I wasn't. In '89, I bought Henry Ford's first factory. And in '92, retired from the auction business. I was volunteering up at the care house in Oakland County, and they were going to pay this man thousands of dollars to conduct their auction. And I said, you don't have to do that. I'm a great auctioneer. I hadn't done one for 15 years, but it's like riding a bike, which you can see I'm very good at. If you want to put that picture back up again, you'll see how good I am at riding bikes. And so they said, can you really? And I did. So, yeah, there I am riding a bike, you see, not doing an auction. And so I said, oh, I'll do it for you. So I did that, and there was somebody there from the Plymouth Symphony, and I did one for them. And slowly, I did more and more auctions. And then I got in the gym business and lost all my money. So I got myself a website and a business card, and I'm no longer a free auctioneer. I'm now a professional auctioneer.
Well, let's see you in action, shall we, Charles? Hold on just a second.
Somebody give me $5,000 to open the bidding on this. Thank you. Bid. 5,000 bid. 6,000. 7,000, 6,000. $6,000. You 7,000 unbid. Do you want 8? Add 7,000. I'll take 8. Add 8,000 unbid. 8,000 unbid. You want 9. Add $8,000. It's over on the right. I'll take 9 if you want. Add $8,000. Add $8,000. You want $9,000 unbid. I'm bid 9. Do you want 5? I'll take 500 and $9,000 is back here. Once, twice. Are you sure? Well done, sir. $9,000. What's your number? 177, $9,000. Give them a listen. Give yourselves all a big round of applause. I thank you. Drink, dance, be merry.
So that was one event that you were at, but any idea? I know you do mostly non-profit fundraisers and things like that. Have you any idea how much you've raised as an auctioneer over the years?
All non-profits. Well, the biggest I've done was $750,000 for one evening.
Wow.
And I've probably raised something like $2.5 million. Yeah. I do little ones. I do big ones. They're different.
So by
the way, I don't wear black jackets anymore, as you can.
I just want to say, I know there's a huge benefit to actually having a professional auctioneer when they've got a big number of things, especially when they've got a big number of things to do like that. Obviously, that one with thousands and thousands of dollars being raised. You got me to stand in for you on one auction. It was a small event. They only had 2 things to auction. You said, oh, it'll be no trouble. You'll sail through it. You know, it was one of the hardest things I've ever done, keeping track of there is so much going on in your head. So I take my hat off to you, sir. It's a much more difficult thing to do than people think. So folks, a word of advice: if you're having any sort of fundraiser and you're thinking of having an auction, please speak to Charles Wickins. He is the man.
Charles, tell us, what are you doing now?
Well, I'm not doing auctions, obviously.
Obviously, there's no
last year when I graduated to Medicare, I discovered how complicated that can be. So I got my license, to be able to advise people on what to do with Medicare. And then I discovered that you have to get further credentials. You have to get AHIPs, and you've got to get tested and tested and tested. But I am in the business of helping people decide what is the right supplement for when they go onto Medicare. And I work with a small group of people. We're unbiased. We're experts in the field, and we'll give you a free consultation.
Now, am I right in saying that October is the key time? Because I'm getting to that age and I'm reading about
October the 15th to December the 7th is known as AEP, annual enrollment, and it's a time when you can change your plans.
Perfect. Charles, will you come
Effective January the 1st.
Maybe you should come back and talk about that
in October.
That'd
Absolutely. That is a sub all of its own.
Fantastic.
Perfect. Well, we'd like to bring back Steve now for a little bit of magic.
I'd like to see Steve.
Hopefully he's ready.
Hopefully he's coming back in any minute now.
Oh, here he is, Mr.
Here
Steve
he is.
Valentine. Look at that. Oh, hang on.
And I was just, you know, you can get just as drunk on water as you can on land. But thank you. I'll be here all week. Hey, can I set you up, Keith, and you just do the rim shots?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. You know, the great thing about working with Keith is you don't know this, but when I met you, like Keith was one of the first professional comedy magicians I ever met. And when we were doing the circuit and we were doing all the army shows, I was always blown away by how fast he was on stage. Do you remember Belize when we were doing in the middle of the jungle?
Oh man, yeah.
And you came back and you got heckled by the sergeant, and he did.
Oh, it's huge, great.
Do you remember that?
Yes. Oh, scary, man.
That was terrifying. There was going to be a riot, and we were rushed in. Well, we got rushed into the officers' mess, didn't we?
We got taken into the officers' mess, and I remember the last words this big sergeant sort of said after I put him down with 3 or 4 lines. I was banging them out, and he just stood up. We were in the middle of the jungle here, and he stood up and he went, "You can be funny now, mate, but you've got to sleep here tonight."
Yeah.
And honestly, everyone else was going, ooh, and it was really getting a bit testy. So but the Gurkhas were there, who are a fantastic British regiment. And the Gurkhas came up to me quietly afterwards, and they said, "We're going to be here. We've been wanting to have a go at this guy for ages. You can sleep safely because we're going to be guarding your tent."
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
Everyone's afraid of the Gurkhas. They're like one of the crack fighting teams in the world, and you don't want to mess with them, right? Anyway. I just remember you being so.
Okay, listen. There's a lot of Brits reminiscing. Steve, magic.
All right, I don't know what to. I've got a couple of things. I could do like.
I'm going to highlight you, Steve.
What was that?
Highlight.
We'll do highlights. No, we'll do highlights and lowlights. This is a trick with I don't know, the 4 kings. Can you see the kings in the deck right there?
Well, not from this side, but I'm sure they're there.
Let me make it a little bit easier for you. How about that? Why don't we just go like that? There we go. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4 kings. What? Magic! It's bloody magic! All right, so I get too excited. I'll show you this. I was thinking, like how old were you when you started magic, Keith?
I was about 19 or 20.
Were you really?
I was a late starter. I wasted the first 20 years of my life. You
did. I was about 6, and I remember the cards feeling a lot bigger in my hands. So I thought I'd get these as a kind of a reminiscence. and this is a gambling game. And this is one of the first things that we have a lot of gambling games in England, right? So this is one. This is a British gambling game. There's the 3-card Monty. And then there's this one. This is called What Have I Got? I'll show you. This is really fun. Look, there's a bunch of cards. And the idea of the game is you just have to guess how many cards are face up and face down, right? So when I was a kid, I would say, well, you've got 1 face up. And the guy handling the cards would always be like, no. Because that's how we speak in England, isn't it? They go, no. Because you say it, you feel instantly superior. Yeah. You go, no. Actually, you lose. Because look, they're all face up. He said, well, try again. He said, what have I got? I said, you've got 1 face down. He said, no. Actually, they're all face down. He said, I'll take 1 away. I said, well, that's all right. That leaves you with 3 cards. He goes, no, actually, there's a 4th one face up. I said, well, you've got the one that's face up. He said, no, I've got 2 face up. I said, you've got 2 face up. He said, no, I've got 3 face up. He said, what's this? I said, that is a 4 of hearts. He said, no, it's a green card. Welcome to America. True story. He said, there's 3 left. He said, is the middle one face up or face down? I said, that middle one is face up. And he said, no, actually, it's face down. He said, is it a green card? I said, yes. He said, no, it's silver. Last chance, he said, what are these? I said, these are both red. He said, well, no, actually, this one's gold and this one's red glitter. He said, that's how you lose your money in England. And that's why I'm over here. True story.
What?
Perfect,
That's
Steve.
fantastic.
Perfect. I love it.
Absolutely love it.
And I thought we finish with some spoken word. Should we do some spoken word just to end up with?
Go on then.
All right, here we go. I'll have a go at this. This doesn't
Hold on,
look
hold on.
Come to the edge. I don't want to. Don't laugh. I hear you laughing. Come to the edge. But I'm scared. Come to the bloody edge, Harold. And he came to the edge. And she pushed him. And he flew.
Oh!
True story.
Well, Steve Valentine, one of my favorite magicians. Thank you so much for being here.
Exhausting. Now, boys, we need to end on a positive note.
We're almost out of time.
We certainly are. We certainly are. For those of you who are watching, we've got 4 Brits all together. Now, Charles, do we have a positive thought? Come on, Charles.
We've got a positive thought. I love this state, this country, this part of the world. We have 4 seasons. We're looking for the heat or winter, and now we're looking forward to fall. That's a positive thought.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is totally positive thought. Yes.
Mr. V, have you got a positive thought?
I don't understand that.
Don't worry, it's Charles. Don't worry. Move on.
You know what? I was with when I was with my ex-wife, Charles. She was my wife at the time.
Good.
To answer your completely inappropriate question. Cheers for that. And by the way, that's a positive thought. So cheers to you. All right.
Come on, Steve. Come on.
You know what? No matter what, you've got to believe in yourself. No matter what happens, I have lived my entire life jumping feet first in without thinking, and sometimes it's backfire, but most of the time it works out. If you want to do something, if you want to try and achieve something in your life, you've just got to do it. Don't wait to get perfect. Don't wait to be an expert unless, of course, you're a doctor, in which case perfectionism is a good idea. Other than that, jump right in. You never know the great stuff that
as the old joke goes, if at first you don't succeed, try again, unless you want to take up skydiving.
Yes.
Really?
Is that how the joke goes?
I just threw it out there.
Wow, thank you.
Folks, we have to go. Just a quick reminder, if you want to come to the virtual magic soiree, there's still some tickets left. Go to themagicsoiree.com. But for now, we have to say a great thank you and goodbye to Charles Wickins.
Goodbye.
Woohoo! Charles, and a huge thank you to our dear old friend, Steve Valentine.
Goodbye.
Steve.
Yeah.
Keith Fields and myself.
Cheerio.
Oh.